Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And if you couldn't tell by the intro, we are doing a Western.
That's true.
Old John Wayne Western.
Howard Hawks.
Montgomery
Clift, Walter Brennan, all the fun.
1948.
All the fun people.
Just listing out facts right now. American.
Very American.
Red River.
Yep.
If it's John Wayne, it's going to be very American.
Well, I mean, this was a request from a long time ago.
Yeah. This is a fan. This is a fan suggested one. Someone suggested this a long time ago. We have a whole list.
And I was so excited when they sent that request. I was like, yes.
I don't remember.
We should do Red River.
Have we done a Western? Not counting Dead Man.
Yeah, if we did, it's kind of more unorthodox ones. This is a straight up like golden age of Western.
This is a Western.
Yeah.
Which means it's really long.
It's not that long. 2 hours.
Yeah. I should say it's a little dry at times.
Can be.
Yeah, because it's Western.
Takes a minute to get going.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a Howard Hawks movie, so it's it's very much somebody who knows what they're doing with the camera.
Yeah.
And he's able to pull off a lot of really cool effects, especially with like rear projection and timing up, the special effects with that.
Yeah.
Also the fog scene, which was really great and well done. You were able to still do that and get the actors well lit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing this all in like a studio lot, maybe a little on location.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, you have Howard Hawks and you got John Ford. Those are your two like kind of premier Western directors that I know of at the time.
Yes. And this is like classic cowboy Western. This is before spaghetti Westerns.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a little bit different than your normal straight of the mill like Western with John Wayne back in those days. Like, this is a little bit different. The character's a little more complex.
Yeah.
And it's less us versus them, like, antagonistic relationship. Like, it's not like a Western that's you're on the side of the cowboys and you're going against the Indians, or you're not, like, on the side of the sheriff going against the outlaws. This one's a very much more kind of...
It's kind of young versus old.
It's a little young versus old, but it's there's much more to this plot than your run-of-the-mill Western for the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically follows John Wayne. They're going to go across Texas, El Paso, I believe.
Well, the beginning, you want me to sum it up?
Yeah, sum it up.
I'll sum it up for you.
Sum it up.
So the very beginning, they are a part of this cattle run. This wagon train even as well. There's this group of cattle herders heading towards California. And John Wayne and Walter Brennan, Thomas Dunson and Groot.
I am Groot.
Respectively. They decide to split off and head south towards Texas. And start their own ranch down there. And it just so happens that the wagon train gets hit by Comanches, I believe. Not too far from when John Wayne and Walter Brennan split off. They get attacked by a few Indians. Native Americans. Indians. And they continue to head south towards Texas. They really go deep, too. Also, they're joined by Matt.
Also, the bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the Indians had the bracelet, which was John Wayne's wife, who pretty much got killed.
Girlfriend, wife. I think it was originally his mother's at some point.
Lover. His lover.
Yeah. She was killed when John Wayne wouldn't take her along. They meet Matt, who's this kid with a cow. They have one bull. The kid has one cow. And they decide to take him under their wing and start this ranch together down in Texas.
Don't trust anyone, kid.
Yeah. And the real meat of the movie happens at this point, 14 years later. Matt's all grown up. He's like Thomas Dunson's, right hand man, first mate, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you have Groot, who's still there, and they've built up a very successful ranch, but because of the Civil War and everything, the South can't afford the beef, and so they got to move all their cattle.
Which is like thousands of cattle.
It's about 10,000 head of cattle, which is a lot.
A lot more than the beginning.
Yeah, and they got to get them up somewhere north. John Wayne's character, Mr. Dunson, wants to go to Missouri because it's where he knows. That's where he came from. Him and Groot came onto that wagon train back in St. Louis, so they know Missouri. And he's really afraid of any of the new territory that does eventually get brought up.
He's stuck in the old ways.
Yeah, and that's kind of the theme, is John Wayne's character being so stubborn with his old ways and not trusting anybody and not wanting to give up any control.
Yes.
Where Matt is younger, he's more open, and he's like, if there's an easier route, maybe we should take it. We have a lot of cattle here. There's a new town out there. Like, they might have if they don't have a railroad, the thing is, it could bust. Like, if they get there, they could be further away from St. Louis, or Sedalia is, I think, where they're going, and lose out and basically have to move all that cattle another way. Or he knows the sure thing is in Sedalia, Missouri.
All I had to do is pull up their phones and look up Google Maps to see the railroad. That's all I had to do. Come on, Hawks, come on.
Yeah, and this is like back in Frontier West. Like, it's a lot of hearsay. Nobody really knows until you've seen it. That's why the question comes up all the time. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you lay eyes on it? And it's John Wayne not putting faith in things that he hasn't seen yet. And Matt ultimately ends up doing that and reaps the rewards for it. Because eventually him and John Wayne's characters, there's so much friction in the group that somebody has to wrestle control away from John Wayne, and they leave his ass behind.
Yeah, him and Valance? What's the guy's name? Valance?
Cherry Valance.
Yeah. He's like the hot gun, the Top Gun.
One of the Top Gun guys, yeah.
And
he respects Matt.
Yeah.
Which I did not expect.
Yeah,
that was one of the surprises in the movie.
So you get like Valance and Matt and another person, I forget. They branch off, and then John Wayne's like, no.
Well, all these guys kept turning on John Wayne.
Yeah.
And it was getting to the point where the group was basically going to fracture. And John Wayne's going to kill everybody except for like him and like Matt and Groot. And Matt's like, you need to stop.
Yeah.
And
stop being a grouchy.
And then everybody follows Matt. It's a mutiny, basically.
Yeah.
And they trust Matt, and Matt trusts, like, we're going to go to Abilene, Kansas instead of Missouri. Because everybody's going that way. There's border gangs. There's Indians. We're gonna head to Abilene, where there might be a railroad, and we might be able to get some money for these cattle.
And he finds a lady on the way.
Yep.
Finds a lady, and John Wayne finds a lady too.
Yeah. Well, it mirrors the John Wayne one, where so on their way they find out that there's this camp, and they go to visit the camp, for a little R&R.
Yeah.
The guys earned it. They've gone, almost 1,000 miles, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
And she wants to go along with Matt, and Matt won't let her, just like John Wayne did in the very beginning.
Yeah, and then John Wayne comes in and is like, I'll take you with me, kind of like that idea. Like, kind of like, he kind of saved Matt from, like, a possible tragedy. Mm-hmm. Unknowingly he did. Mm-hmm. And then they end up colliding, and there's a big old fisticuffs thing.
Yeah, so the climactic fight.
Yeah.
Which is where the biggest cuts are in this movie. So I watched the theatrical version. I suspect you did too.
Yeah.
There's also an extended version with a few extra minutes that Howard Hughes got mad about because he thought it was too similar to one of his movies. So that he did with Howard Hawks, and Howard Hawks was like, "Fine, I'll cut out like a few minutes."
Howards, right?
Yeah, all the Howards.
Was Ron Howard there? Yeah, so they have a fight, and Tesla, no, stop! And that's a terrible impression. And they're like, okay. And then just kind of like, you know.
She points out, she's like, everybody knows you two love each other. So just get it over with.
Just make out already.
Yeah, like, we know that you both don't hate each other. Because Matt didn't want to fight Tom. And Tom sees Matt as the son he never had.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to hurt Matt, but he feels slighted, obviously.
Yeah.
And he beats him up, and then realizes that Matt's starting to stick up for himself. He's able to lead.
Yeah.
And like
John Wayne can't slap him around anymore.
So now he's going to add the M to the brand. And all ends well. I mean, Tom gets his $50,000.
Yeah.
All the guys get paid. They got paid more for the cattle than they thought they would.
Yeah.
For a town that really needed it, because nobody went out there, because obviously it was one of those hearsay things. Yeah.
The one that they get paid is the guy who got shot in the arm.
Bunk?
Yeah, Bunk.
Yeah, well, fuck him.
Yeah. Bunk him.
No, fuck him.
Okay. So he didn't get paid.
He started a stampede.
So he didn't get paid.
Yeah, he did. And the guys who got shot and killed,
they didn't get paid.
They didn't paid either. But yeah. Dan's going to get paid, though. Or his wife. His wife's going to get paid in lieu of him.
Yeah.
Because that was unfortunate. That's a sad moment in the movie.
Yeah. But it's like a nice little adventure.
Yep.
It's a kind of a break from a lot of westerns where it's just like kind of like conflict. This one's just kind of like, how are they going to get there? What's the right route?
It's more of a like, making it through the obstacles, and it doesn't really demonize like the Native Americans like a lot of them do. And it's not like they're trying to set up a camp and then they have to keep fighting off Indians. I mean, they do fight the Native American Indians.
But it's like such a small part of the movie.
Yeah, but it's not like... It's just kind of...
It's just a hurdle in the journey.
The normal friction.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really... Like I said, it doesn't paint them as bad. I mean, they even have Quo in the group.
Yeah.
And it's less of the outlaws versus the law. In the lawless West. It's basically, how are we going to make this money to survive? And we have to get all these cattle 2,000 miles away.
We gotta herd these cattle.
Yeah, and it's a great story. I'm really interested in reading the novelized one where they took all the serial publications and bound them together. It's in the... If you get the Criterion edition, you get the Blu-ray of both versions. You get a DVD of both versions. You get the essay booklet, and they also give you the novel that I really want to check out.
So does that mean buy, rent, or skip?
It's buy.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought it a long time ago.
I'd say buy too. It's actually a pretty good western.
It's one of the best westerns out there.
It's AFI in the top 10 westerns. It's like number 5
somewhere in that range.
Of course, number 1 is The Searchers.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever make it to Criterion. It's another great John Wayne western.
I'm just saying, like, that's understandable.
Yeah, and Red River's really up there, and to predate both of those, and still follow a little bit of that classic formula, I mean, is pretty remarkable. I know John Ford's got Stagecoach on the Criterion Collection.
Yes.
I know Jubal or Jubal.
Yeah,
that's on there. But this one is a real great one, and it's a great. Everybody's really great in their performances too.
Yeah.
Like John Wayne really plays an interesting character. Rather than just a prototypical John Wayne character, he has his flaws in there. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on Red River.
Yep.
Well, we didn't talk about our thoughts. Our thoughts. It's awesome to watch it.
Yeah, it's
we just talked
a great western.
We just talked about the plot.
It's enough of that classic formula to show you what it's like, but it's like kind of perfected that formula and diverged from their normal plot tropes.
Yeah.
And then, like, it shows you what's about to come with The Searchers. and then later with Wild Bunch, and then later even still with The Unforgiven. So definitely check it out.
Yeah. And Open Range. Well, what's your thoughts on this movie? Let us know what's on our Western. We don't do any Western, so what's on our Western, like you said, Stagecoach and Jabal.
Mm-hmm.
What's other just other suggestions? Put it down there. So
Yeah.
we do more so the next fan suggested month we might pick it.
Ones on Criterion, ones that even aren't. For those who want to explore the Western genre.
Yeah. Well, this is your first Western. Then,
even better, there's also the samurai movies that always link up with Westerns.
Yes.
So you can always talk about your favorites, like Yojimbo.
Have we done a samurai movie? No, we did Ladies No Blood.
I believe we did Sword of Doom. Didn't we?
No.
Oh.
That was talked about a year ago.
thought about doing that one.
Yeah, so we don't have many samurais, so throw it out there. So next month is going to be a Spotlight episode. We're not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be... What a Spotlight episode is just new releases on the Criterion releases every month.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do one of those movies.
We're going to try to at least.
Yes, and so we're going to basically see what's available and easy to get, and you'll find out next week. Yeah. So subscribe, share this video, make Criterion bigger Criterion Connection bigger to the world, so more people watch it, more people can suggest it, and the more work we have to do. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we will see you later, y'all.